Hey Bolger Titans, today I'm just going to show you a quick tutorial on how to create cars in SketchUp. So let's start by going to our SketchUp icon. As you can see, I'm starting a new project for this, but you shouldn't. You should keep yours in your town next to one of your houses or by one of your garages if you made them. What I'm going to do to start off is let you know that this is your first car that you're ever making. So if you have ideas of making some like perfect little Bugatti that you know you guys love, forget it, because this is made by someone who gets paid like $50 to $70 an hour, and they've professionally worked in SketchUp for 4 to 10 years. So you will not be making anything even close to this. So I just wanted to get that out of your minds right now. I'm going to triple click this and press delete, and never mind how I got it. I'm going to control V here because I wanted to bring in a more likely example of what you'll be making. So you can see that this is very simple. It's almost like a toy car. And being that it's the first car you'll ever design in SketchUp, you'll be lucky if yours is this good. However, there's no reason to not aspire to ultimately getting to our beautiful Bugatti that we just threw away. You can see that it has the main necessary details for a car, but it doesn't have all the perfect curves and probably moving parts that Bugatti had. However, I'm also going to triple click and delete this because I'm not going to make something exactly like this. We're going to be open to a little bit of creativity here. So I'm going to pan a little bit so I could see what's going on here, maybe orbit a little bit. I'll probably edit that part out. We're going to start with a rectangle using the rectangle tool. I'm going to make it about the size that I think a car is based on nothing except eyeballing it, which means guessing. I'm going to orbit a little bit, and I'm going to pop that up into 3D. Now, I'm going to go around my object just a little bit to see if my sizes are right, and I feel like that's a pretty big car, but it's not totally crazy. I'm just going to push in a little bit on this side for now, and push in a little bit on this side. There you go. That's probably maybe a compact car for that guy. Alright, that's about right. Alright, so the next step is to go over to my pencil tool and to make a very simple outline starting from maybe about somewhere close to the midpoint. This is the midpoint. I'm going to go a little bit higher than that. And I'm going to make sure that it says on the face there, because what I don't want is to have something that I'm going to orbit so you can see what I just did on purpose. Actually, it didn't even happen. Sometimes what happens when you're using the pencil tool is it doesn't realize that you're on the face of the object, and when you're drawing with it, and let me just press escape and see if I successfully managed to make one example of it. Not really. Sometimes the lines come off the block, and you don't want that to happen. That's called, when it's on the block, it's called coplanar. So you want all your lines to be coplanar. I'm just going to Command Z all these actions so I have a nice starting block again. Alright, so I'm going to use my pencil tool around the midpoint, a little bit higher, and I'm going to draw just a line, and I'm going to make sure it says on face there before I click it. I'm going to do another one, click, and I'm going to orbit a little bit. Now my car is starting to look a little bit small on the small side, so I'm going to drag this line out, this side out a little bit more, make it a little bit more of a sedan instead of a compact. And then I'm going to make another line that I make sure is on the face. This is on the green axis, so I happen to know that this is going to make a great example of non-coplanar, so I'm going to orbit and show you. So if you have something when you turn it that looks like this, that is something that is not coplanar and therefore will not be able to be pulled into 3D. You can see that it doesn't even create a solid two-dimensional object, and therefore we cannot make a three-dimensional one. Alright, so unlike this area, by the way, which you can see, I can push into 3D because it is a closed shape made out of a coplanar line. Alright, so now I'm going to go over to my pencil tool again, and I'm going to go on the edge there and make sure that it says on face while I'm putting in the front of my car. Alright, again I'm going to press the escape key to get out of this tool, and I can see that it happened again. So this probably won't happen to you this many times. I'm actually lucky that I got a good example of what it looks like. Alright, so now it's on the face, so I know I can click it. Pressing escape again because I want to orbit and pull out my car a little bit more because I want the hood to come out longer. There we go. You probably won't have to do all this adjusting and just make your car. There you go. That's about what I want, and maybe something like this for now. Alright, so if I pull these two parts off, you can see, and I make sure it goes all the way to the other side so that it disappears, you can see that I have a very rough outline of a small car. Alright, so I'm then going to zoom in a little bit and use my arch tool to make some curves on my car because I don't want it to be this boxy. It's not a Volvo. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to show all this in higher speed because I don't want you to sit there and watch me do all these little curves. And in fact, you don't have to. I want my car to look a little bit sleeker than what I currently have. Alright, and I'm using the push-pull tool to push and pull all these new sections off. Alright, so here's what I have so far. Starting to kind of resemble a car, except it probably needs some wheels. I'm going to use my push-pull tool again. And I'm going to use my pencil tool again to draw a straight line across. And then I'm going to use my circle tool. In this case, my circle could go beyond the edge if I wanted to. Probably shouldn't go along too much though. And I'm going to make two circles about where I want my wheels to be. I'm going to eyeball them to guesstimate that they're as close to the same size as possible. I'm going to use this eraser tool here. And my push-pull tool to again push this to the opposite edge. And it looks like I have my first problem there. I'm going to go see what that is. Okay, it's not that surprising. If I have anything extra like this, I'm just going to select it and press delete. This car is, your cars especially, are going to be very experimental. This isn't like the definite way to make a car. This is just an easy way to make a simple car, which is more than what you're responsible for. I'm not even going to make you make cars, but I know a lot of you are interested in learning how, which is why I made this video. Those of you who find it too complicated after one try can certainly go back to spending all their time on their houses instead of their cars. Alright, but you can see that this is starting to come through here. It's pretty clear what it's going to be. When I used my circle tool that time, I don't know if you noticed, but I was going by really, I started on this point here, and I just slowly started to move in, and it found the center of that circle, so I can get my hubcaps on. For the windows, you're just going to draw them using the pencil tool and the arch tool. Right now, I'm actually going to stick to my pencil tool. You already know how you can add arches to that, so I don't think that's something I need to show. Alright, so there's a good start to my car. I don't want to get too detailed. I don't want to go on this forever. The only other thing I'm going to add is some headlights, because it'd be illegal not to have them. Also, it looks like this is a 4-seater, so I'm going to shrink it by push-pulling the side in a little bit. There you go. I made that headlight too close, so I'm going to use my move tool to carefully move it out to the side a little bit more. Eyeball it to see if it's even. Alright, the last step that I'm going to show for this car, you could certainly go beyond what I've shown you, is we want to add some color. I'm going to have it be a nice blue car, so I'm going to start painting on it by just going around it and painting the parts that I want blue. Leaving parts that I want to leave, obviously I want to color the tires a different color, and the windows are going to be glass, so I'm not going to do those a color right now. One more. What I just did here is I created a line here because I wanted my roof to go a little bit further in, and I needed something to separate for when I painted. Otherwise, this whole part would turn blue, and my driver wouldn't be able to see very much. Now I'm going over to my brick, which is going to allow me, before I was on the color wheel, or I could also use this, or my crayons here. Now I'm going to go on the brick, which is going to allow me to get translucent things, which is another word for glass. Translucent means see-through. And I'm going through all this, and I can see into my car, and of course see that it has no seats. We're not going to worry about those kind of details. That's too far. This is an exterior project. That's why you did exterior houses. Command Z that. I didn't mean to make that a translucent color, so let's go to my crayon box here, show another example of how to use that. And I just did the same thing. What is going on? Oh, that's why. Alright. Alright, so after painting, this is what I would, oops, I missed a couple areas. Okay. Alright, now after painting it, this is what I would call an acceptable car for a first-time designer in SketchUp. You could certainly play around now that you have the overall concept. You should have learned a lot by now in the rest of the project, like making all the houses and all the different parts of the houses. So if you want to experiment with ideas that you have based on that knowledge, that'd be a great thing to do. But this is a perfectly acceptable first car. Maybe in your future uses of SketchUp at home or in future classes, you'll be able to go even further than this. But that's basically as far as I want to show you how to go. Feel free to be creative, and don't be afraid to look at other, like, actual cars to get ideas of the shape of your car and stuff like that. But that's about as far as I wanted to go. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave appropriate comments if you'd like, and stay tuned for more tutorial videos on SketchUp, Illustrator, and Photoshop. Thanks a lot.